Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to today's lecture on Python programming. Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon, Sakshi.
Ma'am, I have given you the rights.
Yes, I will be starting soon. Thank you so
Oh,
much.
right.
Is my screen visible?
Yes, ma'am, visible.
Thank you. Okay. Hello, everyone. Let's start with today's session on Python programming. So today we will be discussing about conditional statements and looping. Okay. So as in most of the programming language, you might have seen how do we use conditions. Okay, so if I need to if I want to execute set of statements, if some condition is true, okay, so I would like to express in terms of some block. Okay, so for example, if some condition is there, if some condition is any condition, let's say condition 1, if condition 1 is true, then what I want to do is I want to execute some set of statements. Okay, single statement, or I would like to execute set of statements. So here is the conditional statements, which starts with checking the condition. If this particular condition 1 is true, then I would like to execute either single statement, or I would like to execute set of statements. Hence we call, if condition is true, then I usually generalize it. I will never say single statement or set of statement. I say if condition 1 is true, then I would like to execute block. Okay, so in that case, how do we achieve in Python programming? Let us see that. Okay, so in simple words, I want to check some condition, and based on that particular condition, if the condition is true, I want to print something. Okay, so let us see how do we achieve in Python programming. Here is, we do have if block. Okay, I do have some variable a equals to 5. I have assigned 5 to a, and later on I have used the keyword. Here keyword is if. Okay, why this keyword is required? Because based on some condition, okay, I want to execute set of statements. Okay, I want to execute the block. So for that sake, I say if. Okay, if this condition, okay, condition I'm giving over here, if this condition, okay, in this particular case, what I say is if condition, and later on what I do give the colon. This colon itself, whenever you give the colon, it takes you to the next line, but with some indentation. Okay, so how many white spaces are there in this particular indentation? You can count also. There are two white spaces are there. Fine. So what this is doing? Okay, whenever you are writing if, and then some condition you are providing, and later on you are putting the colon. This itself suggests that after this particular colon, whatever you write, that forms a block. Okay, definitely in this particular block I have written a single statement. as I said earlier, if condition 1 is true, then I would like to execute either single statement or set of statements. And the whole thing, either single statement or set of statements, we called it as a block. Okay. So if this condition is true, I would like to execute this particular block. This block can have single statement or set of statements. Okay. So in this particular case, you can see the condition is true. Okay, 5 is definitely less than 10. So condition is true. So for that sake, it will print A is less than 10. So let us execute this statement. Okay, you can see the output. Yes, it is less than A is less than 10 will get printed. Okay, let me show you one more example. Okay, using same if condition, but here instead of executing single statement, I wanted to execute set of statement. Okay, let's take some variable again. Let's take b this time. B is equals to 10. Okay, and again I wanted to check some condition. Okay, so if b is less than 20, then once I press enter key, okay, see automatically it never takes over here, okay, below this I, but instead it takes after F. That means it is giving me two white spaces, just to indicate that you are at the starting of the block. Okay, so now when I say so this time, instead of single statement, if this particular condition, if B is less than 20 is true, then I wanted to execute set of statements. Set of statements I have taken as 2. So both the statements will get executed if this particular condition is true. Let me execute it. Right. So like this, in other programming languages such as C, C++ and all, you might have created the blocks, okay, for conditional statements. You might have created the block with the help of curly braces. Okay, here no need of using those curly braces. Instead, this looks quite in Python programming, indentation is provided automatically in the Jupyter notebook or in your collab whenever you write down the colon. Okay, fine. So it enhances the readability of the program as well. Okay, so it is very much clear for the user that if these two are indented, okay, that means these two statements are inside this particular if condition, right? Now, fine. So this time when b is equals to 10 and the condition here is b is less than 20, if it is true, then it will execute these two statements as we have executed earlier. Also, after executing this particular block, this particular whole block, it will execute the next statement after if. Okay, so after if, inside if, it has executed two statements. Once execution of the block is completed, so it will move to the next statement. So next statement is this particular statement, right? So this time it should give the output with three statements. One is inside if condition. The second statement is b is less than 20. Third is next statement. Let me correct it. Okay, this is how it provides the output. Next time, suppose let me change to 100. Okay, let me change the value to 100, and this time if condition, if this particular condition fails, okay, if this fails, then definitely the block or set of statement inside this particular if condition, or the block inside this particular if condition will execute only if the condition is true, I said earlier. Okay, if it falls, this time it is false, right? 100 is not less than 20. So what happens if this is false? Then it simply move to the next statement after if. The next statement after if is this print statement, that is next statement. Okay, so so here it gives the output as next statement, correct? So in conditional or executing set of block statement, we have seen if condition is true, I'm able to execute the set of block statement. But many times you may need alternate ways. Okay, if it is greater than this, yes, I want to print, I want to do some activity. Okay, if the number is less than this, then I would like to do some other activity. So what I need is I need alternate way, okay, for whenever we come across with some condition. So in that particular case, we do have, let us take the example, a is equals to 15. So which condition I'm checking? Whether I'm checking whether 15 is less than 10. Okay, so if this condition is true, fine. So I just want to execute this particular statement, that is a is less than 10. Okay, otherwise if this condition fails, that is false, in that case I want to execute the alternate block, right? So first block is this block, first block is this block, this block is when condition is true, it will execute this particular block. If the condition is false, then it will execute this particular block, correct? So initial, what we have initialized with some number a equals to 15. Just hold for a minute. So in this particular case, what we have done, we have checked the condition. If the condition is true, then I wanted to execute set of statements. Else again you note down the colon over here. Okay, this colon itself is indicating that again we are creating the else part. Okay, if the condition is false, then which set of statements you want to execute. So I need to inform that as well. Okay, if the condition is true, I will execute this particular block. If the condition is false, that is else, I will execute this particular block. Okay. So you know this number is greater than 10, right? So the else part will get executed. Okay. This particular time, 15 is not less than 10. So it will not move to this particular block. Okay. In fact, this condition is false. So it will move to else part. So in else part, we have only single statement with us. So it will execute that particular statement and it will give the result. Okay, the result here is the whatever statement that we have executed in the else part. Inside else part, we have only executed the print statement, that is a is greater than 10. So it will get printed. So let us move to the next part of conditional statements. In this, in the next part, instead of having single, okay, two blocks, okay, that is alternate way, we can have chained set of conditions. Okay, if this is true, then what you want to do? If this is true, what you want to do? If this is true, what you want to do? So what you wanted to do check is, you wanted to check so in this, what you want to check is, you want to check condition 1. Okay, if condition 1 is true, then I want to execute the statement or block 1. Let me call as block 1, P1. Okay, if condition 1 is false, okay, so what I want to do is, I want to go for else part. Okay, again in else part, if it is only two blocks B1 and B2 like this, then I could have simply provided this and I could have executed B2. But here what I want to achieve is, I want to check series of conditions. If condition 1 is true, I will execute B1. Else, if condition 2 is true, then I will execute B2. Else, if condition 3 is true, I will execute B3, and so on. Okay, so like this, I wanted to check series of conditions. Okay, so to check series of conditions, we do have in Python, we can achieve this using elif command. Okay, so let us see with the example, how do we execute chained conditions. Okay, you can see here chained conditions. Here I have taken two variables, A and B, and both of them I have initialized with 5. Okay, initially I will check the with if condition 1. Okay, condition 1 here is whether A is less than B. Okay, then if it is less, then I would like to print A is less than B. Otherwise, I want to check the next condition, that is else if. Okay, else next condition. This is my second condition. Here you can note this highlighted part. This is indicating if this particular condition fails, then I would like to check the second condition. Okay, this is the second condition. Okay, for that sake only here else if A is greater than B. Okay, if it is not less, then is it greater than B? If it is greater than B, I would like to execute block 2. Okay, A is greater than B. I know in checking the two numbers, there are only three possibilities whether, okay, if I need to compare two numbers, there are only three possibilities which exist. One is number 1 is greater than number 2, or number 2 is greater than number 1, or both numbers are equal. So only three possibilities. So last statement I complete with else colon print. Okay, A is equal to B, right? So like this we can have chained conditions. Okay, and I can set as many conditions as I want based on my own requirements, right? So when I execute this, so it will execute the block 3, that is A is equals to B will get executed. Okay, you can change the variable value and you can try with this particular part by yourself, right? Change A, put some value A equals to 15 and keep B as 5 itself. So it should execute the block 2. Okay, and sometimes what you do is you keep A as 0 and B you can keep as the same value, and this time it should execute the block 1, right? Sometimes what happens, we may sorry, sometimes what happens, we may need to check more than one condition. Here we have specified only one condition. In this we have specified only one condition, that is A less than B. But I want to execute this particular block. I want to execute B1, block 1, if there are certain conditions. If there are more than one condition satisfies, then only I would like to execute this block 1. Similarly, this block I would like to execute when more than one condition is satisfied. Okay, so I need to group the conditions. So that can be achieved with the help of logical operators. Okay, you can use and, or not to have more than one conditions. Okay, for example, I will illustrate with and. Okay, so initially what I have taken, I've taken one variable number, and this time I want user to input the number. Okay, and you all know this input function itself returns what? It returns string type. So what I need to do is I need to convert this string type to integer type. Okay, so for that sake I have used this conversion. I need to convert string type to int type because this time number I want to have numerical value instead of string value. Okay, so in number whatever user assigns, okay, the value that will get saved, and later on in the if condition, see the conditional part. I will highlight here. Here we have, instead of one condition, till now we were having in if condition or in else if condition, we were checking only one condition, right? But in this we are checking two conditions. Okay, one, the first condition is whether number is greater than 0. If it is true, okay, and the second one, number is less than 100. Okay, so here I do have and operator. This is logical and operator. In other languages, in other programming languages, you might have used the same with some other operator. For example, instead of a and d and, you might have used the ampersand, two ampersand sign. Okay, that means the same. Okay, if number is greater than 0 and number is less than 100, whatever entered value is between this, then I would like to print this particular statement. Print number is greater than 0 and less than 100 will get printed. So let me execute. This time I will enter 50. Okay, so 50 is greater than 0 as well as 50 is less than 100. So number is greater than 0 and the number is also less than 100 will get printed. Let me execute the next time. This time I will enter like the number where condition, this particular condition should be false, right? So I this time correct. So what happens? Once we have entered the number, it will check the condition. Here condition become false. So it will come out of this particular if statement. Okay, because there is no other statement to execute. So it will stop the execution over there. Right? Okay. Let us discuss something related to loop. Okay. So when we use loop, it might already clear to you. Okay, by using some other languages like C, C++ and all, we have used for and while loop. So in this also we do have two different looping iterations. One is for, the other one is while. Okay. So let's check the basic syntax. Okay, how do we specify, or how do I use for loop and while loop using Python, right? So before that, let us try to discuss what is the, am I not clear? Am I not audible? Okay, thank you. So in this, what I will do is I will take some like if I want to execute, what I will do is I will go for some number. Okay, suppose some number is equals to 0, I will initialize. Okay, later on what I will do is I will check some condition. I will put some condition, check the condition. I will check the condition here. This time the condition is whether number is greater than 10. If it is greater than 10, what happens? Is this particular number is greater than 10? Till that time, what I want to do is I want to check, I want to execute some set of statements. Okay. Fine. Initialized value is 20. This time 20 is greater than 10. So I would like to execute some set of statements. Again, in this, I may change the value of number. Okay, the value of number we may get changed in these set of statements, or in this inside this particular loop. Okay, and again it will check the condition. Okay, if the condition is true, then what it will do is it will execute the statement. Okay, like this. First of all, I will initialize. Initialization will take place. After the initialization, I will check the condition. If the condition is true, then I will execute the set of statements. Okay, and again I will check the condition and I will execute the set of statements. Again I will check the condition, I will execute the set of statements. Till what I will execute the set of statements? Till the condition becomes false. Okay, so in for loop as well as in while loop, we can check the condition. If the condition till the condition becomes true, okay, false, I can execute the set of statements. Once it is false, it gets false, then I will come out of that particular loop. Okay. Let us discuss first while loop. Okay, here I have initialized some number n equals to 0. Okay, again you see the keyword here. While is a keyword in Python programming. While the condition, whether number is less than 5. Okay, is this true? Fine. If it is true, then what I would like to do is I just want to simply print the number. Okay, n equals to, and later on I will increment the value of n. Fine. So again it will go and check the condition. Fine. It will check the condition. First time n was 0, 0 was less than 5. So it prints 0 and it will increment the value of n. Second time, okay, because set of statements will be repeated. Okay, looping is nothing but repetition of statements. Till what it will repeat the statements? Till this particular condition become false. Okay. In the next case, when n is equals to 1, n is 1, 1 is less than 5. So what happens? Again, condition is true. So what it will do is it will print the value of n and it will increment the value. Okay, this time which value it will get printed? It will print 1. Okay, and it increments by 1. That means 2. So 2 is less than 5. Like this, it will go and it will execute till n equals to, it will print n equal to when n is 4. Okay. Once it becomes 5 over here, n equals to 4 plus 1, 5. Okay. It will again go and check here. 5 is less than 5. This time the condition becomes false. So it comes out of the loop. Okay. It comes out of the loop and it will execute the immediate next statement after while, that is end of while. So like this, first it gets, it should print 0. Okay. It checks the condition 0 is less than 5, it prints 0 and it will increment value of n by 1. And again check the condition 1 is less than 5, true, print the value of n, this time it is 1. Okay, and n is equals to n plus 1, that is 2. 2 less than 5, true, again print the value of and increment the value. This time it becomes 3. 3 less than 5, like this. Okay, again less than 5, again when n was 4, 4 plus 1, n will become 5. So 5 less than 5 is false. So this time it should print end of while, right? That is this particular statement. Okay, this is what it should get printed. Okay, you can check here, this what it will get printed. It will loop over, it will loop the statement. That means it will execute the set of statements or while block till the condition becomes false. Okay, so let us before moving to how for loop works, before moving to that part, let us discuss about the range. Okay, because this range function we will be using inside the loop as well, for loop as well. So what we have, what we mean by range? Range, it provides you sequence of numbers. Okay, it gives you sequence of numbers. Again, it depends on what criteria you are getting the sequence. Okay, there are 3 different variants of range. Let us discuss one by one. Range, the first variant is, this is the first variant, that is range stop. Okay, that means range, let me take 10. So this will give you the sequence of number from 0 to 9. Okay, so here stop means at what value you want to stop. Just before that number it will stops. Okay, so range of 10. So here I said just before that particular number, that is before 10 it will stop. Okay, so what this range of 10 will return? It returns sequence of numbers from 0 to 9. Okay, we do have second variant, that is this. Second variant is this, that is range. There are 2 arguments. The first argument is start, the second argument is stop. Okay, there are 2 arguments that we need to provide, start and stop. In the start, what happens? What value I will be providing? With what value I want to start the range with. Okay, by default, in the first case, I have not provided any start value. So by default, it takes 0. Start value is 0. Okay, but you can always specify, you can, in this second one, you can always specify the start value. Okay, for example, instead of, let me take the example for second. Instead of starting from 0, I would like to start with 5. Okay, 5 to 10. That means it should give me range 5 to 10. 5 is nothing but start with 5 and end at or stop at 10. So it should give me sequence of numbers from 5 to 9. Correct? So here is the difference between the first case and the second case. We do have three different, we can generate sequence of numbers using range with the help of three different ways. The first way is just to give stop. Okay. The second one is provide two arguments. The one is start. The second one is stop. In the third case, let us move to the third case. In the third case, we do have range, start, stop, and step. Okay. So when I provide this, okay. So when we provide this, what happens? Range. I would like to start at 2 from 2, and I would like to end at 15 this time, and I want to step. I want to take one step at a time. Okay. So this will result me values, okay, sequence of numbers from 2 to 50. All numbers from 2 to 50. Okay. So it results sequence of numbers from 2 to 15. Suppose I say range 2, 10, and 2. Okay. So this also gives you sequence of numbers. Only difference is here it gives you numbers from 2 to 10 because stop is at 10. Okay, not 10. Actually, till 9 only it takes. No? In this also it till 14 only, right? So 2 to 9, but it takes 2 steps. Okay, fine. Here it has printed 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and so on till 14. Okay, but in this it prints all the numbers. It takes all the numbers from 2, 4, 6, 8, 8, and so on. Okay, so this is the step. Okay, so by default, if you don't mention the step size, it takes 1. Okay, by default it takes 1. Fine. If I want to, instead of 3 different ways of writing range function, I can summarize in single statement with this start, fine, stop, comma, step. Okay. So this square bracket, just I wanted to indicate that these are optional part. Okay. When we have only provided the stop, here it should be stop. Here it should be stop, right? This is optional part. This is optional part. This is optional part, fine. And this is also optional part. Let me correct to this only. This is also optional part, fine. Either you provide only stop value, okay, or else you can provide start and stop value, or else you can provide start, stop, and step. These are 3 different variants using which you can create sequence of numbers. Okay. Let us take some examples, okay, so that it would be more clear to you. Let us illustrate with the help of some examples. X is equals to range of 2. Okay. So what it will do, it creates the range set of numbers. Okay. And when we take X, okay, when I try to get the content of X, so what it will do is it simply gives you the information that this X has some range of or sequence of numbers between 0 to 2. Correct? 0 to 2. this you can see, even though you have mentioned only one argument, right? Here you have mentioned only one argument, but what it has done is it is taking the range from 0 to 2, right? When you check the type of X, so here it should generate the type as range, because range itself is sequence of number that it is providing. Okay. So let us try to illustrate with some example. For example, using for loop. Okay. Again, you check here, for is a keyword, for, and you have taken some iterator. So this acts as an iterator. It will iterate over n number of n numbers. Okay, those sequence of numbers. Those sequence of numbers are what? Those sequence of numbers are generated with the help of range of 5. So when we check for I in range of 5, so what it will do, we will see for I whatever value that this range is producing. Okay, I will be pointing to the first value. Initially, I will check for the first one, and later on it will move to the second element. Okay, second element in the sense second range value. Okay, in the third loop, it will move to the third value that range has generated, like so on. Okay, and in this, what we are doing, we are trying to generate sequence of 5 numbers from 0 to 4. Okay, so with the help of print statement, what I'm trying to do is I'm just trying to print whatever range has produced. I said range has produced values from 0 to 5 minus 1, that is 4. Correct. So I will iterate on these sequence of numbers, right? So let me execute this. So what value it should generate? You can see here, it should it has printed value 0 and later on 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So why? Because range has generated 5 different items, sequence of numbers, 5 different sequence of numbers, starting with, by default, I said, if you don't provide any start, this 5 is indicating that this is top value. Okay. If I have not provided any start value, then by default, it starts with 0. Okay. It started with 0 and later on, it has moved to the next range sequence values, right? One after the other till it reaches the end of the range value, that is 4. Okay. So afterwards, once it has iterated over all the range values, it stops the looping part and it will execute the statement after the loop, right? Okay. This is just the illustration of for loop, as well as this is an illustration of range, right? So let us move to the next one, next example. Again, this is the illustration of for loop as well as range. Here, instead of only specifying stop, here we have we have specified that I just want to have sequence of number from 5 to 10. Okay. Again, this is the start value. 5 is the start value till stop value is 10. Till 10, I want to have sequence of numbers. So it should ideally generate what? It should ideally generate sequence of values from 5 to 9. Correct? So let me execute this. So it will generate 5 to 9 and it generates end of 4, right? So this time, instead of not only okay, So this time I just want to print the number. I just want to print the number as well as some value I want to multiply with. Okay. With just I've taken the constant value. With every value, with every I value, I just want to multiply some constant value, that is 2. Okay. 5, again 5 multiplied by 2 is 10. 6 multiplied by 2 is 12. So like this, we can have the different variants of range. Okay. Then the next one, this is just to demonstrate that range, the third variant of range, that is start, stop, and step. Correct. So here start with 5, end at 10. Okay. In fact, it starts at 10. It starts at 5, and it will take or it will give the sequence of numbers till 9, and later on with a step of 2. So see here, instead of all sequence numbers 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, it has started with 5, and every alternate value it has printed. This is because of this step. Correct? Okay. Many times if you don't want to just to increment the values, okay, you can also print it backwards, right? So that can be done with the help of specifying negative value with the help of with negative value, specify the negative value in case of step, right? So this is the start value. You start with 15, end at 5, okay? And what it will do is it takes -1. The step size here is -1, okay? So here it takes all the values 15, 14, 13, 12, and so on till it reaches 6. In a similar case, in the next one, it takes all the values 15 until 2, okay, up to 2, with step size as -2. Instead of sequential values, we want to get the every alternate values like this 15, 13, 11, and so on. Okay. Suppose if you access the range, okay, if you try to print some values where start is greater than the stop, okay, and many times it happened here also start was greater value than stop, but this time the index value was negative, okay, that is step value was negative, but here no step value is provided as a third argument. So here what it will do is it will not generate any sequence of numbers like this. So in fact, what you need to do is you wanted to start with 8 and you want to reach to 2. So you need to give this step size as -1 so that you will reach to 2 at least. 8 to 2, right? Like this. Fine. So this ends the conditions and as well as looping part, right? So what you can do is you may ask the queries if you have. Also revise whatever we have covered in this today's session. Any queries in today's class you can ask. Yes, let me complete 2 more topics and later on we will have one assignment on data types. Okay. Any other doubts? Okay. Sakshi? Okay, we will take some examples for that as well. Okay, in upcoming classes, we do have some classes.
Yes, ma'am.
If no doubts, then we can stop here.
Okay, ma'am. Anyone having any doubt for the day? Ma'am, I don't think there are doubts. Then we can end the session now.
Okay. Thank you.
Welcome. I have pasted the attendance link in the chat window. So everyone copy that and use that for your attendance.